Rockwell. I'd like to know, are you really ready for some super dynamite soul? And thank you, because now it's start time.
Peace, this is DJ Rockwell, the nation's #1 DJ. It's Saturday, and it's Saturday, and it's Saturday. Welcome back. You're tuned into the Rockwell Radio Show. This is the place where the music meets the mission. I am your host, your brother, DJ Rockwell. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I can't tell you, and I say this every week, I can't tell you how excited I am for this particular episode of the Rockwell Radio Show. So before we even get started, before we do anything, you know I say every time about this time to go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe today, because you're going to want to plug in and see more shows like this. If you're watching the show on Facebook, go ahead and hit that like button and share the show. I'm telling you, we've got an incredible conversation lined up. And I don't normally do the whole opening monologue, long introduction talk thing, but today, as we bring on these 4 incredible women, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4 incredible sisters, it's very appropriate that I take a moment to set the stage. It's important that we take a moment to dig deep and give you context, background, and an idea of not just what we're talking about, but why we're discussing it. The question on the table that we'll be asking and answering today, inshallah, is, can women save hip-hop? Can women save hip-hop? Somebody out there like, man, women can't, women ain't, bro, stop. We're going to ask and answer that question. But the first thing I want to do, as we start rolling out this subject matter, I want to clear the air of a few things. First thing we're going to do is clear up the concept, or the myth, if you will, that hip-hop is a boys' club. We're going to remove that idea, because women were participating and involved with and doing hip-hop music and culture from the beginning. When we began, they were there. When we started spinning on our heads and on our backs, they were there. When we started cutting records back and forth and making rhymes, they were there. They've been there since the beginning. And we have to clear the air. They are more than worthy to take up the task to save hip-hop. Watch this. Let's go through a few things. When the subject of hip-hop and women come up, unfortunately, our memory is kind of short. Unfortunately, the subject always goes to, oh, well, who do you know that was in the early days of hip-hop for women? The first go-to is always Salt and Pepper. The first go-to is always Queen Latifah. We respect them, we love them. They think, oh, back in the day, it was MC Light. They was the first ones to do it. They was the old school. They was the ones that was there. They were there. Oh, you forgot. Roxanne Shante. She was there. They were the originators. No, they were not the originators. We want to introduce you and educate you. That's right, Big Dave. We're going to take it to them. We want to show you all the originators to prove to you the woman was always there. What you know about the Funky 4+1? See that arrow pointed to that sister? That's not a brother with a hat on. That's a sister. That's MC She-Roes. We're not talking about 88, 89. We're talking about 78, 79. That's what this show is about. The sisters were always there. See them three sisters? That was the first female rap group in 78, 79. The Sequence. See that sister on the end on the far right? That's Angie Stone. Angie Stone was a rapper before she was a singer. The sisters were always there. That's right. And we all know when we talk about hip hop origins, we talk about the godfather of hip hop being Kool Herc. But there is no such thing as having a godfather without having a godmother. I'm willing to bet that most of you don't know who that is. That is Sylvia Robinson, also known as the godmother of hip hop. Why? She founded and is the CEO, or was the CEO of Sugar Hill Records. Yep, the hip hop, her, she's behind that. She found the Sugar Hill Gang. That's the godmother of hip hop. So let's do away with the idea. If sisters can save hip hop, sisters were always present from the beginning. They're here today, and they will be here going forward. So let's move forward and start introducing our current She-Roes who are stepping up to the task, who find no problem with speaking straight words to the system, speaking straight words about this culture that we love so much called hip hop. We want to introduce them, but they've all been guests here on the show before. So I'll keep the introduction short. But we do want to give them their props. We do want to give them their due. And I think before we introduce them, it's only appropriate that we share with you something that my producer Big Dave found that is perfect and appropriate to set the mood, that would set the why. In fact, it answers the question before we even get started. Please listen to the words of our dear mother, Mother Tanetta Mommy. Watch this.
So what we are talking about is a period of time that we are in which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said 75% of his work of reform was with the woman. Why 75%? Because we are the gateway to the hereafter. The hereafter cannot come in unless a woman be prepared to give birth to that new incoming world.
A new incoming world is at our fingertips, and the She-Roes you're about to meet right now will be leading the charge into 2022, all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. She's a songwriter, a vocalist, an MC, a producer, and she was actually the first sister MC on the Rockwell Radio Show. Please welcome back to the Rockwell Radio Show, my sister and yours, Arian, Nicole.
Hey, peace and blessings. Peace, everybody.
Salam alaikum, dear sister. Welcome back, welcome back.
Yes, wa alaikum salam. It's good to be back. I love your show. I love it.
Praise be to Allah. Let's keep this party going. Also, a former guest on the show, coming to us live from Akron, Ohio, a vocalist, an MC, brand new video out right now, killing it, called Reflections. Please welcome our sister back to the Rockwell Radio Show. I'm talking about Hecava Mecca.
Assalamu alaikum. Praise be to Allah.
Welcome back, dear sister.
Thank you for having me again.
Let's keep this thing going now. She is a fashionista, world traveler, touring MC, Everywhere where there's hip hop, where there's a woman that's covered, I'm talking about that covered girl from New York, you will find this sister. Please welcome back to the Rockwell Radio Show, my sister, Lish. 2X. Let's go, Lish. There she go, y'all. Y'all thought I was playing. The She-Roes are in the building.
Assalamu alaikum. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us all together in one space. And it's a pleasure to meet you, Sister Arian. And see you, sis. Hey, Rebecca.
Right, sis.
But we're not done. I promised 4, and we got 4. Coming to you live from Houston, Texas. She was my most recent female MC on the show. Tore it up, and she's got a video killing it on the circuit right now. MC, mother, wife, video design. I learned so much about this beautiful sister in our last conversation. Please welcome back to the Rockwell Radio Show from Houston, Texas, Akilah, Nehanda. I'm telling y'all about to witness history right now. Welcome. I want you all to meet the She-Roes, the new direction of hip hop in 2022. Sisters, welcome once again. I'm so honored to have you all. The question on the table, of course, is can women save hip hop? Mother, today to answer the question, I'm going to come back to her words in just a moment. But I want to start here, sisters. Obviously, we started with a question, but let me ask you all, and the way the show will go, first, let me say this just in quick preparation. The show will be kind of like a panel discussion where I want to hear from everybody, and some questions I might direct to you individually, and after this in the second half, then we'll get into more specific detail with you individually. But this question I want to ask to all of you. The question, can women save hip hop? Do you personally think that hip hop even needs to be saved? Or am I just an old head that's exaggerating? So what do y'all think? We want to hear from you all. Does hip hop really need to be saved? Let's start. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Absolutely, it needs to be saved. But the thing about it is, if women can save hip hop, we're still going to need help from our allies, the brothers, because it is a male-dominated industry. So we absolutely are going to need the brothers to help us with our mission. But hip hop does need saving. Yes.
Let's go to Akron, Ohio. Sister, what do you think?
Most definitely, because as Brother Dr. Wesley said, that the rappers are the gods of this time because we have the minds of the people in our hands. I mean, if you think about it, hip hop rap in America is worldwide. Like, it's not just in America. But if you look at the hip hop or the rap that's in the UK or the rap that's in Pakistan or whatever, it's in those areas, but the rap and hip hop in America is all over the world.
Come on.
So, and this is a universal message. So we have the ability to be able to hit the whole entire world. Most definitely hip hop needs saved because majority of the people in the world listen to hip hop.
Let's swing down to Houston to our sister, Arian. Is this cap or does hip hop really need to be saved?
Well, I want to say, I'm in Phoenix, but
Okay.
Oh, excuse me, my bad. Phoenix, my bad.
But it's definitely a form of expression that needs to be elevated. And when you said use the word saved, I said, that's like rescued or like it's in the wrong hands or something that needs to be taken back. But like my sister just said, we're definitely gods. And so whatever we say becomes reality.
Listen.
So we definitely need to, have that perspective as artists, as shapers of the culture, and as co-creators with God. We definitely need to, elevate the expression.
Now let's swing over to Houston.
Yes, of course, hip hop needs to be saved along with everything else. Everything needs to be saved. This is the time of saviors. So it's time to be a savior. And there's so many people who need to be saved, and there's so many aspects of life that need to be revitalized. So absolutely. By the way, my phone might drop a few times, so don't you worry, I'll be back.
That's all right. We with you, sis. Okay, we have now heard the fact that we understand hip hop is in a position that it needs to be saved, changed. I like the way Sister put it, like it's in the wrong hands, as if it's being held hostage. Right. And here the She-Roes right here, y'all. You see it right in front of us. Now, let me get your feedback individually from the words of Mother Tanetta Muhammad. Do you think it applies? And I'm hearing a lot of I'm hearing some phone moving around, but we'll work past it. Let me get your feedback. At this point, I want to hear specifically from Houston, and I want to hear from Phoenix, Arian and Akilah. I want to hear your feedback. Let's start there from Mother Tanetta's words. Let's start with Sister Arian.
Well, I'll say, brother, I didn't get a chance to hear the audio. I don't know if maybe my phone was muted, but I'll say this definitely. I've been listening to Mother Tanetta almost repeatedly. I was going back over her appearances with her son, Brother Rasul, on his call line. And when I think of Mother, I think of culture and cultural revolution. And so we're in the midst of that. And I'm just happy to be on here, with my fellow sisters and women in hip hop to be a part, of the change.
Okay, I have no problem playing it. Sisters, did you all hear the audio or did not hear the audio?
I heard it.
I heard it.
Okay.
I didn't hear the audio.
I'll have no problem playing it again. It's worth it.
Yes,
Stand by for Mother Tanetta Muhammad Part 2. Watch this.
So what we are talking about is a period of time that we are in which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said 75% of his work of reform was with the woman. Why 75%? Because we are the gateway to the hereafter. The hereafter cannot come in lest a woman be prepared to give birth to that new incoming world.
That's right.
Now, did everyone hear what she said?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I
sir.
heard it that time.
Yes.
Let's go to, what did I say next? Sister Akilah.
I believe you said, yeah.
How do you think it applies?
It applies 100% because, everyone is looking at the women in hip hop. They're looking at Meg, they're looking at Carter, they're looking at the people that are at the forefront. Like our sister Hecava Mecca said, we're being broadcasted all over the world. So the way we conduct ourselves, whatever message that we are putting out, the whole world gets to hear. So we play a huge part on the civilization or even, the deterioration of the civilization. So we have to be mindful of what we put into the ears of the people, and we have to be mindful of the imagery that we put and show the world. And so all we can do is be an example. All we can strive to do is to know our role and then act on it. And so Mother Tanetta is 100% right.
Yes.
Let's go to Akron, Ohio with my sister Hecava Mecca. Did you want to comment on those words and how they apply to the discussion at hand?
Yes, sir. Mother Tanetta is always right and exact. And I say it all the time, but I feel like it can't be said enough. 75% of the work is with the woman, and the 75th surah of the Holy Quran is the resurrection, and it is through the womb of the woman that the resurrection happens. And she's the first teacher, she is the first leader, she is the first guide. And so hip-hop is like a universal language. And so children learn songs before they learn anything else. Even if they don't necessarily know how to word the words yet, they still are hearing it and are taking it in, and everything is recorded in subconscious. But as the woman, being able to take that and being able to teach the child at a young age, she's already forming a new civilization in the mind of that child that's listening to her.
Listen.
Most definitely. 75% of the records with the woman, she's 75% of the change. And 7 plus 5 is 12, which equals new rulership. So through that mindset is new rulership.
Come on now. Let's hear from my sister Lish 2X if you want to comment on that.
I mean, why would I have to go after what my sister just said? Like, she done brought it, you know what I'm saying? She done came with the sauce. I just want the recipe, okay? No, but for real, 110% true. You know, 75% with the woman. I take it as being a woman who has co-created. I am a mom, and I do remember, you know, when being with child, I used to love to recite my salat, you know, audible, especially when, you know, we recite our Fajr and Isha and Maghrib prayers aloud. But I used to love reciting Quran because I wanted that rhythmic recitation, you know, kuliya, ayuha, like whatever it is that we're saying, you want that vibration through your body, into your womb, into the eardrums of that child. And it continues because even like to this day, like my son, if I'm on Instagram scrolling and, you know, one of my songs happen to be there, he's already singing it. And I'm like, dang, can we like hear the record? He already knows it. Why? Because when I was working on my EP, he was in the gym shooting with me. He was in the studio. You know, so he knows he knew, you know, when I went back in this, like, not only did I record my whole EP and he was in a lot of those studio sessions, I went back in the studio and said, you know what? I'm not comfortable putting out a body of work as the Muslim sister saying the N-word in any of my rhymes. I went back and fixed every track and try to either punch a new word in or just have them take the word out and bleep it, you know, because I felt like it was important for me to do so. So he heard that. He hears that. And being a toddler, still being, you know, new to even speech and communication, his expression and knowing that he's already able to recite lyrics to songs that he does not yet understand, but that recitation is still there. So I think that that's just very, very important.
Let me give you all a round of applause on that one. Great round of answers. Thank you all so much. Wow. And powerful. We can never underestimate the woman's value as it relates to hip hop. Yeah.
And I just want to add one more thing. It's just, and it's a journey, because I tell people all the time, like, I'm the sister that's rough around the edges. You know what I mean? I'm the one who I always got to constantly fix my grooves. And, you know, because I'm like, people don't know this, like, about me, but like, I am a jokester. I am silly. I use words not in the context of what they are meant to mean all the time. So saying certain things to me it doesn't hold the same weight until now I'm outside of my inner circle and I'm like, oh my God, that can't come from me. That doesn't go with the imagery that I put out. It doesn't fit. So, you know, it's, you know, like I used to have this saying, like, you know, Nikki said before, exit the box because can't nobody check me, but we had to be checked. That 75% of the work is us being willing to submit to that checking.
Come on, sisters. That was awesome. And by the way, that spirit does come through in your music and it works. It comes through in your records. Let's move on. Dear sisters, we all know the music industry is interested in one thing and one thing only: profitability, right? But now I'm beginning to question that. Now I'm looking at that even different. There's an agenda. Let's see. The industry, as you all know, sisters, will force feed us anything that's profitable. Case in point, Lil Kim's 1996 debut album, Hardcore, sold 5 million albums. And since then, we saw a lot of Lil Kim duplicates that have been just as successful following the model, i.e. the Foxys, the Nicki Minaj's, the Cardis, and the Megans, and the City Girls. They follow the blueprint Lil Kim set. However, intro Lauryn Hill in 1998 who sold 10 million albums, but we did not see a blueprint or a copy of Lauryn Hill. So why do you all think, and I know why, but I want you to explain to my viewers, why do you think they would choose to force feed us and duplicate a Lil' Kim over a Lauryn Hill? Let's start with Arian, Nicole.
Okay, yes, sir. Well, if you want to lift a woman up, or if you want to lift the world up, then you lift a woman up. If you want to destroy a world, destroy a culture, destroy a people, you have to destroy that woman. And you have to have a particular woman or role model in the forefront. One of the things I don't want to do is, beat my sisters down who have a form of ignorance, right? To
yes, ma'am.
The divine truth that we've come in contact with and have accepted. I want to go back to Mother Tanetta when she said a woman has to be prepared.
Listen.
And then also go into KRS-One. He said that hip hop, the hip stood for intelligent and the hop stood for movement. So hip hop is intelligent movement.
Come on.
So when you have a woman that has been prepared a certain way or has a certain knowledge in her mind and is willing at, no matter the cost to give that truth, you produce a Lauryn Hill.
Right.
They don't want Lauryn Hill. They don't want the woman that understands the power, to that degree, or I'll take it this way, who is willing to speak truth at any cost. Because remember, you said the cost, you said the paper, the dollar rules.
Listen.
And so right now it's about willingness. Because if you pull back the curtain, you'll find that many of our sisters are very intelligent. They
say that.
And we understand. But the corporations, the ones who write the checks,
come on.
It's your job. You just see it as a job and you see it as entertainment.
Right.
Those of you who are watching, go ahead and look up the etymology of the word entertainment, and you'll find that it is a frame of mind that the person who is entertaining wants you to stay in. And so when you have a new woman on the scene, that represents a new world, that represents a new culture, because we only reproduce what it is that we're given.
Fact.
We reproduce. So Satan wants his woman, God wants his. So
listen.
That's right.
Sister Akilah, how would you answer that?
Wow. I would answer it like that.
Like what she said.
Truthfully, she said it all. She really said it all. What to add to that except, yeah.
It's all right. You can pass the mic if you want.
I'm gonna pass the mic because she literally, that's exactly it. And of course I could probably say it another way, but that's the premise. You know what I mean? This world is going to duplicate the things of this world. They're not going to duplicate a kingdom of God mindset. Like, what would they be doing? You know what I mean? They would be destroying their own world. They would be getting rid of people going to strip clubs. They would be losing money, They would lose money if they decided to duplicate righteousness. But in truth, like you said, Lauryn Hill made so many albums. So clearly it's profitable. Clearly people want to hear it. So we have to ask ourselves, if people want to hear it, but they don't want to supply it, then there has to be another agenda, because you got prisons filling up. All of that is lucrative for Satan. You know what I mean? So you're taking money out of his pockets when you start living opposite of what he's teaching us to live like. So for, this world is about that dollar. And I remember hearing the minister say that the white man's God is money.
Listen.
So If he feels like, listen, I'm going to get more money if I continue to allow them to wallow in ignorance, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the money. But if they wake up, my pockets are going to start looking a little lean, and that ain't going to work for me. So
it don't work.
That's how I see it.
In the interest of time, because we're already at the halfway mark, but I want to try to speed up just a little bit here. I want to show you a quote that my producer found that I think is very relevant to this conversation. A few years ago, Brother Jermaine Dupree got himself in a little hot water for saying this. He said, talking about the sound of that's on the radio and women, he said, I feel they're all rapping about the same thing. He said, I don't think they're showing us who's the best rapper. For me, he says, it's like strippers rapping. And as far as rap goes, I'm not getting who's the best. So, like I said, he caught heat for that statement. In fact, Cardi B got back at him about that. So, I would say when it comes to lyrical content from our mainstream female artists, 99% of it does sound the same, and it tends to focus, sisters, on the lower half, as we all know. So I want to make this a two-part question for you all to deal with. A, was he wrong? B, in terms of subject matter, sisters, share with us some of the other subjects that our sisters could discuss other than matters of the lower half. Let's start with our sister in Akron, Ohio, Hecava.
I think he was right. I mean, not necessarily to the extent to where it's like showing the people who's better. I mean, I know that rap is kind of competitive, but necessarily showing us who's better, I wouldn't say that, but just in the terms of giving something better to what's being given. Yes, he is 100%, in my view, correct, because really everything that they talk about is that degrading life. There's nothing else in their discussion or in their rap. Other things that could be talked about, I mean, obviously you could talk about God, but you could talk about being a mother, the trials of being a mother, the trials of just living, period. I mean, overcoming obstacles, just everyday life, everyday things that happen every single day. But I mean, if that is in your every single day life, then I guess that would be something to talk about. But there is so much more. We've made a woman just the sex object, and women don't want to be objectified, but yet we objectify ourselves. We want to have the freedom to be able to objectify ourselves, but don't want anybody else to do it. And get mad about it. It doesn't make sense to me. You think that you're more than how other people portray you, but you don't portray yourself in that way to where you think you're more. So, I mean, there's so many other things that could be talked about.
How about it? Let's go to our sister Lish 2X.
It's first of all, Jermaine Dupri is 100% right, because half the rappers in the game right now are, people who are strippers. Like, if we just want to keep it a buck, and I know a lot of them personally, and it is what it is. And rap is competitive. It is a sport. It is about who's better. You know what I mean? In New York City, it's very competitive. Everybody want to talk about who's the queen in New York right now. DJ Freedom's doing a tour in my city right now for a little borough. The top of the people who's in Queens, who in Brooklyn, who in Harlem. The only place we don't touch is Staten Island. That's Jersey to us. But it's competitive. But the reality is, no matter how many bars you're spitting, if you're talking about the same content over and over again, you're not showing versatility, then there is no better. Honestly, right now, as far as flow and cadence and everything like that, Nicki's undisputably one of the most creative painters with her words. But the reality also, you have to keep in mind that a lot of her content is very similar to the things that other women are speaking on. They're just not as clever and artistic in how they deliver those messages. So when we speak about the creativity of what can be spoken about, like Cardi did a follow-up to what Jermaine Dupri said, and it's true. When she did the song Be Careful, trying to, connect with women and be relatable, women bashed her and was like, this is not what I expected. Because she wanted to speak on a topic, and then they criticized her marriage, they criticized her mother. It's like they try to put female rappers in a box of saying, if you wear a scarf, you must be conscious or you must be like Lauryn Hill. But if you listen to my EP, I don't have a Muslim artist EP. My message is very universal. What I mean? I speak about everything under the sun, but because of how I look, they want to put me in a box. But the reality is my music and Rhapsody's music is nothing alike, and we don't put those same requirements on men. Tupac was the king of hypocrisy in his lyrics. One day it's about uplifting women, and the next day it's about I slept with your wife, and then the next day it's about. So we just, I think as women, having the freedom to be so broad in our topics, we just have to push our pen and being creative, and not so much on a high horse where we're rapping at people, where we're talking at people, and we still want to show that, but we still want to show that clean glass. We don't want to be like those people. Right. So it's about finding that balance. It's about saying, I get you, girl. We do need songs like that, because when we close the doors, like, of course I want to, you want to say a little something spot to your husband, that's fine. There's a void that you are filling, but it becomes problematic because we cannot act like we're prudes, because that's not going to get across. The reality is that we are what we are. You know what I mean? We are sexual beings. We're beautiful. We're intelligent. We have to have diversity in what we speak about.
It has a lane.
We have to know when, where, why, and how to do it. Right. To the point where we're not degrading ourselves, because people have this term called slut shaming now. Well, how about because being a slut is shameful. At least it was when I was growing up. I'm a 90s girl, so it was. But it was, and I said this in my last freestyle. I did a Gallus freestyle because I was like, so everybody just gonna keep doing Gallus freestyles, condoning men being whores too? I want she and she and she. No. How about slut walks while she talks? I'm tired of fighting stereotypes of my likeness. Black women degraded and everyone's looking dumb praising it. I'm not gonna praise it, but I'm not gonna speak at people either. I don't need to speak at you, but I'm gonna show you a way that is tasteful from my perspective. And some people may not even like the fact that I even address certain topics. But
there's a way to do it.
But there's a way to do it, and if it's not me, then it's my sister Akilah. If it's not Akilah, it's Mecca. So that's the reason why there's versatility in all of us. You know what I mean?
I'm so glad you said that. I'm fact, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, to close, and with the fact that hip hop is very competitive, I am competitive. But with that, we can't let us being competitive interfere with the sisterhood. We can't let it interfere with the unity and how powerful that presence can be. You know what I mean? We cannot, and we have to also show that as well. I'm complete. Thank you.
Beautiful. Let me get that a hand. That last point is particularly.
Yes.
Thank you. You brought up, and your timing was perfect. It's a great segue, and we're right up against the break, but I want to pose this last question first before we go to it. You mentioned our sister from VA, Rhapsody. I think he's from VA. Rhapsody says this: to me, it's about culture more so than money or anything. She says, I make music for the people of the culture we're in. That comes first. If you touch the people first, she says, the rest just falls into place. That's what it means to me, just preserving and respecting the culture. I want to ask a question about that. And I'm going to go right to my sister Arian in Phoenix with this question. Notice that the name of this episode, y'all, it isn't that can women save rap? It's can women save hip hop? So if it is to be preserved and respected, as our sister Rhapsody just said, what are some things, Sister Arian, that women in hip hop can do to contribute to that effort?
Number one, kudos to her for that elegant description and her quote in general. I love that. One of the things we can do, actually it was in your last question too, like some of the ways that we can, flip the script and talk beyond, our private parts and what we can do in the bed. And it's only, the minister says it's only so much time in the day you in the bed. You ain't in the bed.
How about that? Right.
Other things. And especially going back to Sister Rhapsody's point, we have a culture. And so when she was talking about the culture, I doubt highly that she was talking about the culture of death, and we don't want to preserve, the current culture. We're counter culture. But I think the culture that she was talking about was the culture of hip hop, which is expression, right? The intelligent movement, flipping your words to get the people to think in a certain way, in a certain manner. Think higher, think a little higher, vibrate higher. Like, who was that? Brother from Outcast, 3000. So yeah, we can talk about so many different things. We can talk about gardening. We can talk about getting land, and now, we can talk about, the timing what must be done. Like, it really ain't nothing more important than what needs to be done right now.
Right.
I was getting ready to say a cold war, but this war right now is kind of hot, and our people, some of us are kind of walking, still somewhat oblivious. We're not really on the alert. But that's a whole different, conversation right there. But if we're gonna talk about hip hop, we got to talk about the spirit of war. I remember, and Sister Akilah, you were there when the minister, he was saying to us around the table. He said, when you're talking about justice or serious matters, you can't come with a soft, sweet song. You got to come with the spirit of war.
Listen.
So when we're talking about hip hop and speaking into that mic, and like my sister said, that competitive spirit, that's because we soldiers. That's because we're getting the word out. And I know, like the culture of the battle rapping and things like that, I was a part of that, got out because one of the things being a sister, MGT, if a brother come at you wrong, then you're going to get dealt with. You don't
Come on, right.
You know what I mean? So you step out of that culture, but you just still keep it in other ways. But yeah, it's just about, shots fired in the right direction. That's what I'm trying to say. So
beautifully put.
Yes.
Beautifully put. Let's go to our sister Akilah in Houston.
Absolutely, y'all always have me go after Sister Arian. And I'll be like, yep, that's it. But no, but truthfully, like, the culture is real, and we, going back to what we were talking about with Mother Tynetta, we make the culture. We create the culture. And so, I do weekly and bi-weekly videos on Instagram rapping about the different things that's going on in the news, the different things that's going on in the world, different things that's going on in our culture. And because there's so many things you can actually talk about, because there's so much going on this planet. And for us to only have one topic is really ridiculous, and it's really putting ourselves in a box. And so I try to show people, look, you can rap about anything, really. And and you can make it really, really catchy. So the culture is what we make it, and the culture, we're creating a God culture, you know what I mean? Productivity, like Sister said, talking about buying land. I mean, real boss moves. Like, it's not a boss move to me to just be stripping and whatever, and not to downplay our sisters, because that is it is like a sport. You gotta be flexible. You gotta be in shape. You gotta be in shape. But, you know, at the end of the day, that's not necessarily something that you teach your daughter, you know, to aspire to be. It's just, I mean, you gotta keep it real with yourself. So, but what do we want to teach our daughters? What do we want to teach our sons? Right now, there's a debate about should you allow your sons to get a play kitchen? I mean, it's so many things. Yeah. It's so many things to talk about. You know what I mean? It's so many topics that we have to address in the culture, and we even have to address male-female relationships the proper way, because you know this divorce is just skyrocketing, and maybe it's because this music is promoting division amongst men and women. Independent, you know, the independent woman don't need a man. All this messaging that we're giving women, and we wonder why our society and the women and the men in our society are breaking up so quick and are fighting the baby and his baby mama Danale, you know, having a whole fight on Instagram Live.
Public meltdowns. These are millionaires. Well, the baby is a millionaire.
So it shows you can be a millionaire, you can be in a penthouse, but your mind is going to be in hell if you don't have the civilized thought, and if you are engrossed in a dead culture. We need a culture of life more abundantly, so that when we have money, we can actually be happy and not toxic to our people and to our community.
Let me give that a round of applause again. This is DJ Rockwell, the nation's #1 DJ, and I am sitting with our brand new She-Roes, Akilah, Nehanda, Arian, Nicole, Hecava, Mecca, and Lish 2X. We went a little long in the first half, but we're going to take a pause to take a break. Don't go away. We'll be back with our She-Roes right after this message. Stay tuned.
This is your brother Willie Muhammad, and I'm asking each and every one of you all to tune into the DJ Rockwell Show, live online. Peace.
Peace. This is your sister Aisha, the mental resurrectionist, hailing out of Baltimore, Maryland. Listen, whenever I'm online, I always tune into the Rockwell Radio Show. It's that hype. It's that dopeness. And you should tune in too. Peace to my brothers David and DJ Rockwell for holding it down, locking it down, giving us those sounds. Love y'all. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Sister Latasha Muhammad, and when I'm online, I rock with the Rockwell Radio Show.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button, or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Words of hijab, focus laid in the lab, off the dome, no pad, NYC to my bag. I remember who laughed at all the times in the past. Who said I wouldn't make it, discredit my past.
Look in the mirror, tell me what you see. I mean, do you really see a hoe? Society calls you bitch, but you are not a dog. It's the other way around, baby girl, you are a god. I know you probably never heard of this, so I suggest you take a hold of this. Yeah, it's some people on this boat that's poking holes in it, but we gon' patch it up anyway and just float on it.
Fendi, do old and basic. If it ain't black on, I don't own it. My Brandon Blackwood match my Fenty Bullet. He wanna try on, she want man, I want both. He want a daughter, she want a man, I got both. You love your enemies, nah, let them devils choke. You not a friend to me. If you siding with Israel, you a troll.
Original, new school, digital, crazy nice, lyrical, top-notch material, queen of the planet
show. Like pissing in the dark since I was an embryo.
We're back. This is DJ Rockwell, the nation's number one DJ, and you are tuned in to the Rockwell Radio Show. If you are watching, if you have been clued in for that first half, these sisters are smoking the mic and giving us exactly what we came for. Proving exactly what we set out to prove. And the women and hip-hop, the answer is a resounding yes. If you are watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube right now, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button, and above all, subscribe. In the second half right now, and I guarantee it won't be as long as the first. We're going to dive into some pointed questions, and we're going to do a summary at the close, and it won't be long at all, because all four of you are having an amazing, I'm going to say, have amazing careers. And yes, I'm using the word careers because I'm watching your talent take you places that so many people don't get a chance to go. And I'm going to prove that in just a moment. Let's start with this. I'll start with Akilah to make my point. Akilah has built a massive online following. Matter of fact, let me give you applause for doing such a great job. Social media is obviously your talent in terms of building followership. But my producer, Big Dave C, he says, you know what though? Our sister recently just got out of IG jail. so is that true?
Yes, I served my time.
so please, let's tell the story on what happened and what video did that.
Actually, it's quite simple. I was only in Instagram jail because I was unfollowing too many people at once, trying to clear my space to get more focus, and they thought I was a robot. So they said I was violating. But the video that TikTok took down was the video I did on vaccination. It was called Vax on Vax, both pay tax, but one's treated like a felon. Think about that. So they took that song down. And I already know that song would have definitely hit 1 million because my DaBaby video hit 1 million. And that song was already at 200,000 by like the second day that it was up. So they took that down, but Instagram, they kept that one up. So it was really TikTok that did me dirty. So, but we gonna keep rising. We gonna keep rising to the top.
Producer said, we got to ask sister. Matter of fact, we got to encourage sister. And what he said, make sure keep going. And we hope that didn't slow or break your spirit. And obviously it didn't because you're right here with us right now, keeping on going.
And you know what, for Instagram, I asked Brother Boyce Watkins to post the video that I did make because I wanted to keep it going. I still wanted to put out my video, so I asked him to post it on his Instagram page. And then when I was out of Instagram jail, then I was able to post it on my page.
That strategy works every time. We're going to take this next part and put it directly in the lap of our sister in Akron, Ohio, Sister Hecava Mecca. You just dropped a new video, Reflections, and it is absolutely beautiful. In fact, the people just saw a clip of it in the second half intro. So I just want to ask you quickly about two things. I want to talk about what is it you wanted the viewer to take away from that experience after watching that video. And secondly, on a more upbeat and hyper note, you're going to be on stage live with Big Daddy Kane.
Praise be to Allah.
So we want to hear about how that experience came about. So tell us first about the video, and then we'll go to Big Daddy Kane.
Well, in the Reflections video, I really just want people to, because it's nature-ish, and we are one with the earth. The earth is trillions of years old. We're trillions of years old. The original, the home of Allah is the earth, and we are the earth. And it's just a reminder. And so you see me wearing a green dress with the gold jewels on it. And to me, that's supposed to represent the Holy Quran as a reminder of who we are. And it kind of looks like I'm in a cave, and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in the cave with Angel Jibril revealing to him. It's just, people may not necessarily pick up on it if they don't read the Quran or know anything about Islam in particular, but those really are some of the things that kind of stuck out to me about it, because I didn't necessarily plan it. I mean, I didn't necessarily plan it. It just happened, and for some reason.
Are you kidding? Really?
Yeah, I planned it, but I didn't. I was supposed to get a completely different outfit. I didn't get that outfit until 2 weeks before the video shoot, and I had so long to plan, but I only got it 2 weeks before the video shoot. And then the actual place that we recorded it, I didn't necessarily plan on being there. I thought we was going to be somewhere else at a different part, but that's just where we ended up being. And just the whole experience, it's just everything kind of came after the video, the fact that I was wearing the green and gold, and just it revealed itself after I did it. But Big Daddy Kane,
come on now,
a brother, I don't know if he wants me to put his information, I don't know if he wants me to say anything who it is, but it is a brother in the nation, and I guess he works with a record label, an up and coming record label, and he got Young God, and he hit me up and he said, I need you, I would like for you to perform at a show. I was supposed to perform back in August, but things didn't go through. Okay. And so we got back together, and we planned it for December 4th, and just so happened that Big Daddy Kane was going to be performing at this event. All praise is due to Allah. So it's
Sis, that's a great look. All the best on your performance. All the best on your performance. We're coming close to the end. We have a few more questions to wrap up this beautiful dialogue I'm having with my sisters. This next question will go to our sister in Phoenix, Arian. Sister Arian, you are very active in the ministry of arts and culture there in Phoenix, Arizona. Big Dave tells me that you're part of an international songwriters network. Tell us what that is, and tell us how people can get involved.
Okay, that is, so Phoenix, Arizona, we have about 4 ministries up and running out of the 9 ministries, and me working with the Ministry of Arts and Culture, definitely using a lot of my connections that I've made through performances throughout the years, and many relationships. I've always been on a course to help different artists with what I didn't have at the process. When I was getting started, I gotta give a shout out to our dear brother, may Allah be pleased with him, Michael Cinematic Muhammad.
Love that brother.
Yes, and so he was one of the first people to tell me, hey, get your LLC, do this and do that, and a lot of the stuff I wouldn't even, sometimes you don't want to hear, you just want to make music, somebody else handle the business, that kind of part. And so I definitely want to give a shout out to him, may Allah be pleased. And so I ended up being invited to a event maybe some time ago, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5. And, I was I was trying to see what it was. And they said, have your business together and whatnot. I was thinking, bring some business cards to the event and whatnot. So anyway, I went. And the brother who was there, I really liked what he was saying. He is an A&R with, or former A&R with Atlantic Records, casting supervisor over the Fox 4, and then also casting for Diddy's Making the Band. And we've been in communication just maybe once a month or something like that, but I still wasn't understanding what it was that, he was forming or wanted to, wanted me to be a part of. And so I came along a very rocky time in my life, maybe in 2019. And he reached out during that time. I'm saying, y'all, we done, it was crazy. My husband, he, partially lost his sight at the same time, and because of that, he lost his job. And then also, you know, like it was just that situation. And so he extended, he said, hey, look, you know, don't worry about anything. Just come out here for about 3 days in LA and be a part of this conference. And so what I saw the brother was connecting artists and songwriters to, I mean, just major, you know, big names. And it was a very grassroots feel. And so, and then he was teaching sync licensing, formatting, and all of those type of things. And so what it was a national songwriting network. And then there's also people about, you know, Canada and then South Africa and stuff like that. And so I ended up joining, you know, the network, and then I became a regional leader for the West Coast for the network. And so, you know, what we do pretty much is kind of like the same thing that Michael Cinematic did for me. And you know, work with, you know, artists on that. And then we also work together and we pitch in boot camps for, you know, the sync licensing and things like that.
That's powerful.
Okay, very intense. You know, and so so that's that world, you know. And so it's not industry, but you meet people in the industry. So that's
that's very powerful. Very, very powerful. Let's get ready to close because we're at the hour mark now. I would just ask if y'all give me maybe 5 more minutes of your time, and we close out with a question for our sister Lish 2X and a question for Around the House. Just Lish, this question is for you if you got time for us. You just dropped a brand new dope video. Yes, I saw it. You just gave us Shame the Devil, which is absolutely incredible. It's incredible. So what I want to ask you, dear sister, and of course, I didn't think I told you the last time I saw you, that's one of my favorite records off of your Cover Girl album. So the question is this. It turns out that the video is a bit of an homage to your family and someone that's special to you. So tell us about that video.
Well, first of all, thank you for taking the time to watch it. It's only been up for about maybe 6 or 7 hours, so I appreciate that, and it's doing okay. So I just wanted to do something, like I feel like I've done it all already. I've done so many videos in the studio, renting spaces, and I did the glitzy glam thing, and I said I wanted something that was a little bit more raw, a little bit more, you know, grassroots hip hop, like that was more cinematic, that definitely just showed, like, you know, it's hip hop is in myself. People always want to say, oh, you're so fashionable and you're so cute, or you're animated and you're funny. And I'm like, no, but I also have, you know, meat and potatoes and what I'm talking about. I took away I didn't get a makeup artist, and in fact, I wore this scarf, you know what I mean? I didn't bring, you know, too much that's going to distract from, I want you to see this area. I want you to hear the words. I don't want you distracted by what I got on my feet. The lip gloss is popping. I wanted people to hear, like, you know, what is it about me?
Right.
And it was important because I felt like this song is special to me because when I did it at my EP release party, you know, It's Biscuit was there. And he told me, when you performed this song, it was dope. I was so curious because I didn't know what Fulani was. I don't know what none of this is. But he goes, you talking about it and speaking through your music, you're educating people, because folks are not going to Google and look this stuff up. And, you know, everyone wants to talk about the glitz and the glam and the fashion and the, you know, spending all kinds of money on wallets. And but I said, but these J's and 7 jeans really ain't about nothing. And I know because I had a mother who raised me. You go to her closet, it looks like the Fendi store threw up in there. but it doesn't mean anything. Because I also remember feeling some kind of way that we moved so much. I also remember feeling some kind of way, like my mom wasn't the type of, and this is not to talk about my mom, but she wasn't the type of mom that, you know, sat down and apologized when things were wrong. My mom's love language was, all right, let's go to the mall.
Right.
You know, that was her love language. But you don't as a child, you don't understand that, you know, adulting is hard. And, you know, you may move a lot, but you have to think about what's going on in her life at that time. Oh, she divorced my father. So, yes, we left New York. We moved to Maryland. Yes, you know what I mean? She ended up in another relationship. If that didn't work out, now she's also trying to parent while mothering these two girls at the time. So I definitely addressed those things in that song. And I find it, you know, even in my adult journey, you know, because I also eloped as a teenager. I know what it's like to go through a divorce. And now as an adult, I feel like it's important that as children, we give our parents a little bit of grace and that we walk through our journeys and say, you know, I mean, I talk about so much stuff in that song. I even in the first verse, I don't speak about nothing. I just speak about being from Spanish Harlem, and I speak about, you know, the area is gentrified now. And even though it was my buildings were always nicer buildings because those are buildings that you have to buy into. They're co-ops, but it's still the area wasn't always great. You know, so I speak about the fact that, you know, it's gentrified now. Maybe we can get some help from the police because people still getting shot up around these parts.
Right.
You know, but so it's like, yeah, I want to tell the truth and shame the devil, but if I do, they'll label me a fool or a rebel. Because those are like, when you listen to people like Kanye, they love to say he's insane, he's crazy, because he's speaking so much truth. So that song, I feel like I went through a real journey, and I hope, you know, when I made the shot list of everything I wanted in there, even taking y'all to my bodega. That's New York lifestyle. You know, the corner store, like that. People don't understand like why so many New York rappers do that, but the bodega and the ox letting me sit on top of the counter and letting my videographer get back there, like that's because they become La Familia. They become the family. Because that's how that's the culture of New York City. And I think that too many times as a hip hop artist, we love to show the juice. We love to show the glitz, the glam, the expensive fashion, especially New Yorkers. And I'm from, you know, Spanish Harlem. Like you uptown with it, you fly. We the flyest borough. They say Harlem always making it, Brooklyn always taking it. Yeah, Brooklyn with the Juke Boys, and Harlem we always got fly. But now we got to take that away and say, here's the meat and potatoes of what this culture really is. And, you know, I just hope that I executed and, you know, translating a lot of the stories of my childhood and saying like, dang, I moved so much. My ancestors must be Fulani because those are the nomadic tribe of Africa, you know? Or people say, you moved, yeah, like you moved like a gypsy. Like, so I just, you know, I'm just happy to finally have shot that video. People always said to me, that's not a single, it's a great album song, but I would not have moved on to my next project until that song had visuals.
Oh, no, I disagree. That's a single all day. Single all day. Let me give you all a round of applause for those beautiful answers, ladies, sisters.
Thank you.
Man, can women save hip hop is the question. We're witnessing our new She-Roes right here in front of our face. Sisters, we are now 7 minutes over the hour, and this is my last question I want to ask each of you. Listen, sisters, we want to give some advice. I want you to imagine that listening to us tonight is a young girl, 17, 18, 19 years old, who's very talented, who's super talented, but she's at that place where she wants to be seen. And she feels like in order to be seen, she has to start stripping her clothes off. She realizes that the industry is what it is. And if I want to fit in, I got to start fitting in. Or let this go, or let that go, or let this go. What do you say to that sister who's got it, who really has the talent? Young sister, but she's now at the crossroads of compromising her integrity to fit in the industry. I want to ask each of you to answer that question. What do you say to that little sister? I'll start with Akilah going around the room from there.
Y'all gotta start with me.
Well, you didn't want to go after our sister Arian, so.
Well, hey, come on. Right.
Well, no, I would just I would just have a full conversation with the sister, because sometimes we don't, we don't take the time to see what's going on in their heads. We don't take the time to know their story, know their backstory. Maybe they were having problems at home, like, Sister Lish said about moving all the time and all these things. So maybe they didn't have their mother telling her her value. Maybe she doesn't have the father telling her her value and how she can do more and be more than just her body. Because, this type of mindset is usually comes across when sometimes your peers have more power than, I guess you could say maybe the culture that raised you. So I would have a candid talk with her, learn more about her, and just tell her that there's nothing more valuable than her mind. There's nothing more valuable than a made-up mind. And sometimes people might feel like, well, that's cliche. Somebody might not want to hear that when they want to be seen right now. And over time, some things won't click until later. You know what I mean? Because even if I were to say something to that young girl and tell her just to drop a seed, all you have to do is drop a seed. And so I would just drop that seed and look,
there you go.
Your mind is more valuable. You know what I mean? You can get attention, just like how you gave us the example of Lauryn Hill. You gave us examples of sisters who they got attention without degrading themselves. So I think it's very important when we talk to young ladies like that to give them something to see, give them examples, people they can listen to, people they can actually see who are successful and who are succeeding. And then they can say, they can put a face to the things that we're telling them, instead of just saying, keep your head high and you don't need to do that. People don't not necessarily want to hear that at the moment, but if you show them somebody who became successful, who we see, right, that's completely different, and it gives them some mass to really understand, like, if that person can do it, I can do it. Because we are a visual people, especially Black people. We want to see, did you make it without doing that? Okay. If you didn't, then move around. So
how about that?
Show them examples. And so that's what I would do. I would just give them examples of different sisters, and I would show them videos that I put out as well, and show them my following, and show them that I hit 1 million views, and I definitely don't show my body. So I can be an example.
It can be done. Thank you so much for saying that. The following order will conclude us. We will hear next from Lish, Arian, and we will have the final word from Hecava. So, Sister Lish, what would you say to that beloved young sister?
I think that I get so many DMs and requests now, because I think that, for me, I try to be, to the best of my ability, some kind of an example, like my sister said, because, I feel like there's not that many people flyer than me.
Come on, say that. Say it.
And I don't even, and I barely show baby hairs. You know what I'm saying? Like, could I step up my modesty? Absolutely, but I'm not gonna wear a curtain to appease people either. I'm not gonna, look like I'm 3 times my size to wear something like super big either. So it's like, the reality is that we ourselves come from a generation of parents who told us a lot of things to do, and even elders in our community telling us a lot to do, with no results that are positive to show the benefits of that. And I think that we are now a generation of people that are actually doing things, and we are like the show and prove that we're taught to do. Like, anything that we speak on, we should be able to prove it. And I think that we definitely have to be good representation. I know for me, like, I hated being tapped on the shoulder by sisters telling me stuff. And I'm like, first, I'd be like, you don't even look Muslim outside of these doors. Like, that used to be the first thought to my head. Instead of just saying, you know what, let me take what's being said to me and let me find how I would have said that more lovingly. So when that next little girl comes to me, I can say it in a way that I wish that person had said it to me. So to answer the question, it's number one, I feel like if I'm going to speak on anything, I have to definitely be a living example of it. And then secondly, I think that everything that we should say should be said with love. Like, I do a lot of posts and I go on my rants about femininity and all kinds of stuff. And then I end it with said with love. And then lastly, I think that we always talk about the glitz and the glam of being these women that are, I'm sorry. We always talk about the glitz and the glam of these women who show their bodies and who do twerk videos and all that stuff. But we don't talk about, like, look at what they're going through in their personal lives. Look at how many men they've ran through, and they're in the public eye. So we know that you've been married 5 times this. We know that you are being dragged through the mud. These men that you're dating degrade you. They're kicking you out of their houses on and it's going viral. Like, look how you're treated. Is that how you wish to be treated? Because let me tell you something. I know, like, and I say this all the time, like, I came up with Cardi. I know these people. I know a lot of these vixens and the Stephanie Santiago, the bigger vixens. These, I don't like to say they're my peers because we are in different lanes, but these my folks. But the reality is, when I go into the same spaces that they're in, I don't have those issues. Why? Because I got my head covered. I always come as me. I always come as me. People used to say to me, like, oh, how are you in these studios with these rappers? Like, you never worried about it? I come as me, and I'm respected as me. And I think that what women don't realize is that they're looking for attention when they should be looking for respect. And I love being able to flex and say, let me tell you something. I'm good anywhere I go, showing up as me. And you will be too. It's your protection. And when somebody gets sideways with me, there's usually somebody that's going to do that checking for me because I show up like me. And I think that girls need to be shown and told, like, listen, you don't want to be publicly humiliated like that. It's not cute. And then when you start getting in your 30s and now you want to be serious and get married, what man is going to take you serious? Who's going to take you serious at that point? I'm high person. Where do you value yourself at? Yeah, that's important.
Come on, Sister Arian, Nicole, it's on you.
Whew, this is a great discussion. What would I say to an 18 or 19-year-old sister? I would ask a question on whether she wants to, if she understands it or not. Like Sister Akilah said, the seed will be dropped. If she wants to be a part of history, or if she wants to make history.
Come on.
And so, everybody, if you look at this world, is pretty much on the same wave. But for me, one of my taglines is Queen Against the World. You want to stand against, the flow and the current. Because there's something on the other side, that we don't see. And that's a matter of faith, and that's a matter of really me being blessed at a young age to find my direction in the course I wanted to go on. I would often think about, success and what success means, right? To a lot of people. And I look around and I say, no, I ain't signed no big record label contract or anything like that, but I've achieved milestones. I was in my mother's living room, listening, on her dual cassette tape, okay?
What they know about it?
Listening to Rakim and listening to KRS-One, and grew up and performed with them. So I performed with, a lot of the people I looked up with.
Come on, right.
Being in those same rooms, and it's like, okay, so are we allowing other people to define success for us? A lot of times. And even like, I was at a point where I lost all of my equipment. I worked hard to get, third shift overnight, hard to get. And then
hustle.
God, I turned around and I got, 10 times more, brother, without a 9 to 5. It's like, how did you do that? You know what I mean?
God is moving.
And God is moving. So what is success? It's overcoming milestones. It's overcoming trauma and finding love. Black man, black woman, love in a society where, my sister said again, male-female relationships, we at each other's throat. I ain't gonna say no names, these figures.
right.
But anyway, yeah, so, it's success. So it's like, success is being able to be you, like my sister said. That's success, because everybody else is trying to be somebody else.
Right.
Me, I'm a mother, I'm a producer. I'm an entrepreneur. I call it entrepreneur. We entrepreneurs out here.
I love it. I love that.
You know, become who we are and evolve and look back and help somebody else, you know, maybe to get a couple of steps, you know, faster than, you know, how you got it. But, you know, it's just at the end of the day, you want peace of mind.
Say it. Say
you
that.
Want peace of mind. You can have so much and just be ready to commit suicide because, like Sister said, you know what I'm saying, people being dragged all over the internet and humiliated and people talking about vain things, and you're gonna find out one day it's more about the spirit than the flesh, because the flesh is gonna go away. But at the end of the day, if my music talks to your child and your grandchild, you know what I mean, I live on and I transcend. So it's about transcending. That's what I would say to my little sister.
Jeez, beautiful, beautiful. We're gonna close it out. Final word of the show from our dear sister, Hecava Mecca.
Praise be to Allah. The sisters answered it beautifully. Perfect answers. But the question, it really hit home for me. As you were asking the question, I couldn't help but see myself. And it was actually different for me because I actually started off making worldly music, secular music, and then I transitioned into conscious music. But nonetheless, wanting to be seen. But the thing is do you want to be seen or do you want respect? You may be seen, but do the people respect what you do? You know what I'm saying? Like the sister said, you want attention, but do you want respect? It's the same thing. And always being the underdog. I've been the underdog my whole life. I've always been underestimated. I've always been looked down upon and never given the chance to actually prove myself. I don't want to say worthy, but of some type of I was never given a chance. Basically, people always just dismissed me. And to just be patient, because even though they may dismiss you, what's for you is for you, whether they like it, whether you like it, and what's not for you is not for you. So if it's for you, it's going to happen. If Allah has it in your plans, then that is what is going to happen, period. It may not happen now, it may not happen a year from now, but if you remain steadfast and you're consistent and you're diligent and you believe in yourself, even when don't nobody else believe in you, when you believe in yourself, that is when Allah is going to show up and He is going to show out, because believing in yourself is believing in Allah. And to just keep going and to be steadfast, because you are the standard. Everybody else has their own standard, but you are a standard because you are a reflection of Allah, which is what Reflections is about. You are a reflection of Allah, and can't nobody touch you. Like Sister Lish 2X said, can't nobody touch me, and that's period. But at the same time, I can't touch nobody else. I can't touch Akilah Nehanda. I can't touch Lish 2X. I can't touch sis. How do you say your name? I'm sorry. Arian. I'm sorry. I can't touch this Arian. This Arian got that flow, okay? She got that flow. I can't touch these sisters. But at the same time, these sisters cannot touch me because I am my own reflection in my own lane, doing my own thing. And that is for everybody doing something. You are in your own lane, doing your own thing. And as long as you stay in your own lane, there will be no crashing. Y'all can go at your own pace. Y'all can take your detours or whatever. Just do you. Be you. Period.
Beautiful. This round of applause is for Lish 2X, Arian, Nicole, Akilah, Nehanda, Hecava Mecca, the new She-Roes of hip-hop, leading hip-hop into 2022. This is DJ Rockwell, the nation's #1 DJ. And sisters, it's been an honor, a pleasure, and so humbling to have you on this show to address this subject. Can women save hip-hop? You've answered it with a resounding absolutely yes. And for those who are watching, thank you for tuning in. All of their contact information, all of their social media information will be in the description of this video. So we want to thank y'all for watching, staying with us. This is DJ Rockwell, and we will see all of you what, maybe tomorrow? Nah, we'll see them next week. We out of here. Peace.
I'd like to know, are you really ready for some super dynamite soul?